Hello and welcome to Out of the Darkroom on Adorama TV. I'm Ruth Medjber and joining me on the show today is photographer Beta Bajgartova. Beta, thank you so much for joining me on the show today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, it's a real honour. I love your series, Woman's Work. I think it's fantastic, which is this fabulous book that you produce. I love when people do books, proper old school, hardback, gorgeous big books. Would you tell us a little bit about how this series started, how it evolved, what inspired you to start it?
So I think it started about 2 years ago. I was approached by a friend photographer in Czech Republic because I'm Czech. So my friend photographer asked me whether I would like to participate on the exhibition that he was organizing. And the theme of the exhibition was women and beauty. I think that all women are beautiful. I started simply photographing my friends. And my friends are in the book. One of them is felt designer, another one is minister in Unitarian Church, another one is cinematographer, and all of a sudden the story started to emerge. They are all women who are in very interesting professions and they are very inspiring. So that's how it started, and then I spent next 2 years traveling all over Ireland and searching for the women who are in interesting professions and predominantly male professions.
Awesome. It's great to see. And there's a lot of women in this book, isn't there?
Yeah, it's 53 women. And the project is still ongoing because there will be a big exhibition next year in the little museum of Dublin.
Brilliant.
Of those photographs. So I would like to show new photographs. So I just started to shoot women. I just went to Galway to photograph air traffic controller.
Cool.
And I am going to be photographing a lady who was programmer back in 70s.
Awesome.
Which is really great. And sometimes I get just a tip from a friend or from the woman that I photograph. She would say, hey, do you know what? I know there is a really lovely goldsmith who is working.
See, women, we look after each other.
Yes, exactly, exactly.
Keep recommending other people. It's like, I know this other girl, it's all good. Like, that's cool.
So that would be one way of searching for those women. And another way would be me just thinking, okay, so I really need to get prison officer and I need to get the fisherwoman. So I would make a list and then I would just Google and go through other ways to find these women who are based and work in Ireland.
To get a book this size and to do it like this would cost a lot of money, right? How does someone afford to do a project that takes 2 years, photographing 50 odd women, which is quite expensive traveling around Ireland? And at that stage, do you get a grant? Is that how you do it? Do you an Arts Council grant? How do you fund something like this?
Okay, I had to find sponsors.
Okay.
And I also, with the help of my friend who is in the book as a cinematographer, we did crowdfunding campaign. So that was half of the funds that we needed, which was about 4 grand. And another 4,000 euros I got from 3 sponsors. I am very lucky photographer because I have a contract and I have a relatively stable job. If I get a contract for a year, my work, 3 days a week work, is photographing stills for Fair City.
Fair City is our kind of soap, isn't it?
That's Irish drama, yeah.
Irish drama.
In Irish national television, RTE.
Okay.
So that's the bread and butter, and that's enabling me to have more freedom outside this gig. So I can afford to invest my time to projects that are not commercially valuable or that don't make money.
So with the 3 days a week then doing stills on Fair City, maybe you could tell me a little bit about maybe how you got that job and what it is and how you go about shooting on the day.
So stills photographer in RTE, it's basically public job, so I had to tender for that.
Oh, great.
The work is quite demanding and exciting at the same time. It's not difficult when it comes to technique and photography. Even I must say that I have learned to shoot in the dark, really, because you're doing stills in the studio and the lights are, it's completely different than what we would imagine. So I learned to shoot in very difficult light conditions.
Do they break for stills, or do you just have to shoot while they're shooting?
So basically, the drill is when you're a film photographer, most of films they shoot on one camera. And you basically, when you're at film, you tend to stand with the camera person and you have a blimp, which is the cover that covers all the sounds.
I wondered about that.
The sound blimp, yeah.
Because when you're clicking away, people can hear it and the audio will be recorded.
Yes.
Sound blimp. Oh,
sound blimp. But I don't have the sound blimp, and the photographing in soap opera, where people are using more than one camera, is completely different. Because like in Fair City, in the studios, they would use 3 cameras at the same time. So that means that the visuals for 2D picture would be completely different. I often have to ask, after they shoot the scene, I often have to ask if I can do the stills and basically rearrange people, get them closer, because they may be way too apart for me. So I have to rearrange it.
To fit them all in one nice looking frame, yeah. And
the frame that I have to take in 5 seconds, it basically has to tell the story, tell some sort of moment, the narrative, the drama. So when I'm there working on the set, I either get some pictures during the rehearsal, but mostly I would be standing there, watching the scene, watching what the director does and what the actors do, and then I would be thinking, okay, so this is what I need to see in the shot. This is what they want me to photograph. So when they finish the scene, they say cut, the scene is clear. I would just jump in and shout, "Can I do the stills? Can I do the stills?" Totally.
In case they forget about you. You're like, "No, stay there, stay there. I know you said cut, but wait."
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and then I would need to rearrange them somehow, get them closer, or do some part of the scene that would be significant for the narrative. And as I said, I have like 5 seconds to do that and be completely invisible, and it has to be technically perfect. So no pressure. And it's really interesting because I am interested in all forms of visual art. So it is interesting to watch directors' work as well, because Fair City would have different directors. It's not just one director who would be working there, and they would come from UK as well, and we also have some Irish directors, and each one of them have a slightly different approach, different kind of approach to work. So it's really interesting, and you do learn a lot. It's great.
Does it make you nervous when a new director kind of comes on board?
No.
No?
No. That's what I think. That's why I do photography. I love the challenge. I don't want to be nervous. I want to be able to approach the person, grab the person, and
embrace it and run with it.
Embrace it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, I think so. I mean, I was looking over your stills, and they're just so full of drama that I was like, oh my god, I really want to watch Fair City now, because it's just.
Well, that is the point. You need to. It's teaser.
Yeah.
For the drama. And in an ideal situation, the still really, when it's published in papers, it has to make you say, "Oh my God, I really want to watch this episode."
Oh, it does. It massively does. They jump out of the page at you. And did I notice as well that you sometimes shoot for magazines and things like that?
People now are hiring me for portraits and for features. I also shoot products. I shoot fabrics for
fabric.
one company, yeah.
All of our viewers are always really interested, and so am I, in knowing how people found photography and how you got into the job that you're doing now. So would you enlighten us as to that?
I got a camera from my aunt when I was, I think it was the equivalent of like 6th class in here.
Okay.
I got a little Pentax camera, and it was manual, and I also got 2 rolls of film with that. But I have to say, basically, when I finished those 2 rolls and got them developed, that was it, because it was just really expensive to buy film, get it developed without having the darkroom. There was just no tradition whatsoever in the family. The interest in people and in stories brought me to study journalism. And then I became journalist at the age of 23, I mean, aspiring journalist. Yeah. And I started working in a local newspaper, small local newspaper in a town where I come from. It's probably the same now everywhere, like local journalists in small papers, they have to do everything. They have to write stories and they have to take their pictures. And that was the first time I got my first crash course on photography. I was told, so here's your camera, you go do the interview there and then do the picture, but don't do the picture of don't do wide frame, just give me nice detail. And that was the first and only course I got for many, many years. And I was trying to follow that ever since I started photographing for the newspapers or for the papers. I was completely hooked, and it was just passion. And I was excited more seeing the photographs on paper more than seeing my written words. And it continued throughout the whole journalist career. I then worked or ended up working for a national radio station in Prague, and I was a reporter like in foreign desk department. So I would get to travel sometimes. Cool. Yeah, it was really cool. But I would always take the camera and take the pictures, and I would be just shaking with excitement to bring the films to the lab and then getting them back, and that was just like, it was a huge passion.
One of your series that I love and I want to ask you more about is your dreams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when was it created? Like at what stage in your career? Because normally I can pinpoint when people have done something in their career, but with you I was just like, maybe it's ongoing, maybe it's new, I don't know. Yeah. When did you do it?
This was in 2012.
Okay.
It was when I got the gig in RTE for the first time. So I had the job and I had the time to be able to create something outside the job. I was always, and I am actually always thinking how to create a story in one frame. You know, because people would say, oh, portrait, you have to tell us the story about the person. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of nice cliche, but really, how does it, like story, come on.
In one frame, yeah. Difficult.
Very difficult. So I decided that I will approach people and I will create stories. And I created all those ghost effects in the Dream series by using long exposure.
So you're picking people, you're giving them a story and you're telling them the frame. Yeah. Fantastic. I want to get into that in loads of detail, as well as all the detail about how you shot a woman's work and the technical side of what you use on your Fair City stills as well. So if you wouldn't mind hanging on with me, and then in episode 2, part 2 of our interview, we'll chat more in detail about the technical side.
That'd be my pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Cheers. Well, that's all we have time for in this episode, but stick with us as I'll be chatting to Beta again all about the technical side of her work. If you'd like to brush up on your own photography skills, check out the Adorama Learning Centre, and if you want to watch more videos, then subscribe to our channel. Thanks, and I'll see you again soon.